You're listening to News Talk 1340 WJRW. John Gonzalez, MLive.com, the Grand Rapids Press, and the Going Gonzo radio show. Weekdays at 1 o'clock on News Talk 1340 WJRW. Had a fun time hanging out there with the Rogers up at Chimney Corners. Now I'm going to have another fun time here because I am at Harbor Lights Resort in beautiful Frankfort, Michigan. And Judy, my producer back there in Grand Rapids, I am at a gorgeous place. I mean, I can see why people come here and stay for a week because you have the Lake Michigan right, in your scenic view. You got Betsy Lake right behind us. You got the city of Frankfort walking distance. This is a really cool resort. And with me is the co-owner, Steve Campbell. How you doing, Steve?
Doing great. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this time with us because you have a beautiful facility here.
Well, thank you very much. We're very proud of it.
I mean, every time I heard the mowers a little earlier, and, last night, I came in a couple nights ago, and everything was ready to go. You seem like you have everything is well manicured, taken care. Look at the lawns here. We're sitting out kind of outside of it on a little picnic area, and everyone has a balcony or a view of Lake Michigan. You guys must take a lot of pride. The flowers are beautiful. You take a lot of pride in the grounds as well.
We really do. I mean, that's the first impression for everybody when they come in. We want to make sure they are pristine.
Yeah, pristine that they are. Now, of course, Harbor Lights Resorts has a fascinating history. Yeah, it goes back in your family for a while, but the history of this piece of property is really intriguing. You guys do a great job on your website, by the way.
Thank you.
Of kind of chronicling back to 1902 everything that has happened on this piece of land. I was talking to some friends earlier this week about just what this area was like even 30 years ago, and you've seen it change quite a bit. But in present, the way the format is right now, I mean, your goal is basically to get people in here, give them a great experience, and have a good time, right?
Absolutely. This is a place where people will come and relax. Yeah. As you mentioned, you've got the beach right here. You've got downtown Frankfort with its variety of great shops and restaurants, and we've got our own movie theater. So it's a great place to hang out for a couple of days or for a week or longer if you can. And
of course, you have lived here for how long now?
Our family came here in 1982.
Okay.
Which was my senior year of high school. Giving away my age here.
No, that's okay. I remember you telling me this on an earlier visit because you were like a senior in high school from the Battle Creek area, right?
That's correct. Yes. And I worked summers here through college, and then got the opportunity to come back in 2005 when my father decided to retire, and my sister and I took over in 2005, and we moved our families up here, and we're continuing to grow the business and take great care of our customers.
How many units do you have, and what kind of arrangements are they? Because I know that you have little different spots in different areas here.
Yeah, there's about 75 units that are in our rental program, and it's a mix between motel rooms. We have a variety of different suites. Then we have condominiums, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. So all different shapes and sizes, different views, different price points. So really a quite large variety to accommodate almost any need.
And a friend of mine was saying on MLive.com that their family had a wedding right on the beach, and they stayed here at your resort. So
that happen a lot? Yeah, beach weddings have become a very popular thing here. It's become a destination wedding place, and we've got a great private beach area where we allow people to get married. Yeah, and it's just a great place.
And of course, it's walking distance to all the shopping and the restaurants right in Frankfort.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't have to drive anywhere once you're here if you don't want to, but of course there are some great things to see in Benzie County, too.
Well, no question. Yeah, I've been all through, as you know, traveling the whole county looking at different things, but when you end up in the evening having dinner here, you just kind of wander around and check things out, and you have a lot to offer. But, getting back to the history, Steve, and looking back to it, at one point in time, tell me the story here because I find it just so intriguing that the hotel that was here was rivaling even the Grand Hotel up at Mackinac.
Yeah, it was. It actually it was called the Royal Frontenac Hotel. The property was owned by the Ann Arbor Railroad, and they had the property, and of course there was a railroad line that came in here. Yeah. And like many of the railroad companies of the past, they built resorts to accommodate their guests. So they built on this property a 250-room hotel called the Royal Frontenac Hotel, and they used the same builder and same architect as the Grand Hotel.
Wow.
So when you look at the historical photos, you can really see some resemblance to the Grand. And it opened in 1902, and at that time it was billed as the most modern hotel in the Midwest. They actually, all the rooms, besides having a great view, they had telephones in the rooms back then.
In 1902?
Yeah. And sadly, the hotel only stood for 10 years.
Yeah.
It was lost in a fire in 1912. So, but at the time it was here, it was quite a place. I mean, it was an all-inclusive resort. They had sailing. They had an equestrian farm. They had a little golf course on the other side of town. So when people came, they came by passenger ferry. They came by train. And it was quite the happening place, and unfortunately it was lost in 1912.
And then it lay dormant for quite a bit, right?
Yeah, until the 60s, the early 60s, and that's when my family, it was my great uncle and aunt that got involved in purchasing the property and developing. At that time, a motel was built. A restaurant, and oddly enough, a bowling alley.
I love the story of the bowling alley. Yeah. I guess the city of Frankfort says, okay, well, we're going to let you open it up and use it for a restaurant and motel, but we want a bowling alley.
We want a bowling alley for our town, and that's what was built. So
and it was there for quite a bit.
It was. It ran from the 60s, mid 60s, until the late 80s. Really, is when the bowling alley and restaurant and bar did close down, and then got converted to rooms and suites. And condos.
And so you remember the bowling alley?
Oh yeah. When we moved here, that was my first job. I was handing out bowling shoes and setting pins and waiting tables at the restaurant. So yeah, it was really fun.
That's a great story. And then of course your family took it over in about what year was that?
1982 was when my dad got involved.
Yep. And then you and your sister now run the place.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
That was 2005.
So were you did you go off do something else in between all that stuff?
I did. I worked out in the corporate world for over 17 years and got the opportunity to come back, and it's been a great move for our family.
What's it like going from corporate America to running the Harbor Lights Resort in Frankfort, Michigan?
Well, every day is different, which is great. I found out becoming a business owner that I don't have the big marketing department to turn to when I have an issue. I don't have a human resources department. I don't have so it's all us. It's my sister and I and our team here that you have to take care of everything. But it's challenging and it's fun. Yeah. And we every year we try to improve the property, improve the rooms, and make the guest experience the best we can make it. So that's been exciting to go through this process.
As I'm winding my way around Benzie County and getting to know the different places and restaurants and places you can stay, one thing that I find pretty prevalent and pretty common is that families that come here often come back the same week every year, and they stay at the same spots, they go to the same restaurants. They have a routine of sorts.
That is true. There's a lot of people that just make this part of their annual pilgrimage, if you will, up to this area, and so that's really the core of our business is those return guests, and then we fill in with new guests that experience Frankfort for the first time.
Like myself, who definitely loves coming back here. I don't know why I haven't been up here before, because it's a beautiful area. And also, I'm wondering, are you getting folks from all over Michigan and outside of Michigan?
Yeah, absolutely. We really draw from a pretty wide area. That was one of the things that amazed me when I really started to look at where our guests are coming from. And the core is definitely from the state of Michigan, Southeast Michigan being our biggest market. The Grand Rapids market is very strong, but we also pull in a lot from Chicago, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and believe it or not, we get quite a few people that come from the St. Louis area.
Really?
That's a big market for us. And I don't know if you've ever been to St. Louis in the summertime, but I understand now why they want to come up here. So.
It is definitely hot. And I see, just looking around here in the grounds, I see families heading over to the beach. That's got to be a big, attraction or a reason to stay here, allure, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Frankfort Beach is really one of the nicest beaches you're going to find in Michigan. Yeah. And I don't say that just because we're here, but it's wide open. It's all sand. There's no rocks. It's just and it's not overcrowded. It's a great place to bring your family.
Definitely is. All right, well, you know what, Steve? I'm going to take a quick little break here because I think I'm going to go kayaking. Have you ever been kayaking before?
I sure have.
All right, well, I had a little bit of an experience. I can't wait to tell you all about it. But if you want to hear about my kayaking experience, make sure to keep it here. Steve, again, thanks again. Harbor Lights Resort, Frankfort, Michigan, a wonderful place here. How can people find out about your place?
They can go to our website at harborlightsresort.net.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks again, Steve.
Thank you very much.
All right. Coming up next here, we'll do local news. We'll do ABC News at the bottom of the hour. Then stick around. That's right. Stick around for my kayaking adventure on the Platte River here on the Going Gonzo Show on News Talk 1340 WJRW.